front of an entire room of people, I forced the woman I love to swallow a live snake. Everyone thought I had completely lost my mind. What they didn't know was that in less than a minute, the world would undergo a cataclysmic mutation. Every surviving human would awaken a unique super talent based on whatever they had consumed right before the change. In my previous life, I was eating lamb buns when the disaster struck. I awakened a pathetic long hair talent, which was only good for producing wool to survive bad weather. As the mutated monsters grew stronger, I became nothing more than bottom-tier fodder waiting to be slaughtered. But this time, I was fully prepared. I remembered a mutated giant dog from my past life that possessed earth-shattering power. It had belonged to the boss of an antique shop in the south of the city. Out of curiosity and sheer luck, I had learned from the boss that a specific piece of jade was the catalyst for the dog's god-tier mutation. So, upon my rebirth, my absolute first priority was rushing to that antique shop. I scraped together every penny I had and bought that dragon vein jade stone. As for why I forced Xiao Wanro to swallow her pet bamboo pit viper, it was because I knew she truly loved me. In my previous life, even after the apocalypse arrived, she never left my side. She had awakened a powerful ice and snow talent, more than enough to survive the desolate wastelands on her own, yet she chose to stay and protect me. Because of my weakness, she suffered terribly and ultimately lost her life just to keep me safe. In this life, it was my turn to help her awaken a much stronger talent. In my past life, the climate mutations had triggered a terrifying evolution in her pet snake. Had it not been killed by the antique shop's mutant dog, it would have evolved into a formidable 5-clawed dragon. Since I couldn't cut my dragon vein jade in half to share with her, the snake was the best alternative. Even a secondary flood dragon bloodline would be countless times stronger than her previous ice talent. Facing my intense insistence, Xiao Wanro looked deeply conflicted. On one hand was the boy she had loved for years. On the other was her beloved pet. Finally, she made her decision. "I'm sorry, Xiaoqing. I'd do anything for him." Right in front of the entire class, Xiao Wanro pinched the little green snake and swallowed it alive, choking it down like a noodle. The whole class went dead silent, too shocked to speak. Then absolute pandemonium erupted. People screamed as if they were losing their minds. Xiao Wanro rushed to the water dispenser, chugging several cups of water while leaning heavily against the wall, gagging. "Holy shit! Xiao Wanro, are you serious? You're insane? He told you to eat it and you actually did? I must be dreaming. What the hell am I watching?" Even the teacher was completely frozen in shock, unable to comprehend the sheer absurdity of what the youths were doing. Amidst the roaring chaos, I walked over to Xiao Wanro. Sweat beaded on her pale, flawless face from the phantom pain and nausea. Strands of hair clung to her forehead, making her look incredibly fragile. A sharp pain twisted my heart, and I pulled her tightly into my arms. I did it," she whispered, her hands gripping my waist. I gently stroked her pale face as she spoke, a faint trace of blood lingering on her lips. This bloody scene terrified the teacher, who scrambled for his phone to call the police. Meanwhile, Gao Junhao, a tall, muscular sports student and Xiao Wanro's notoriously rejected simp, felt his vision go black with rage. "Chen Jie, you deserve to die. You know she likes you, yet you force her to eat a live snake?" His roar was terrifying, scaring the surrounding students as he stomped forward and charged at me with a raised fist. I didn't even look at him. Embracing the weakening Xiao Wanro, I pulled out my phone and watched the screen. As Gao Junhao pushed through the crowd, I began the countdown. 3, 2. Gao Junhao's towering figure was inches away. People subconsciously held their breath. 1. As the clock struck exactly 10 o'clock, a blinding burst of light, charged with cosmic energy, erupted outside the window. It was so dazzling that everyone was instantly blinded. The flash lasted only a moment before fading. Gao Junhao, temporarily blinded by the flash, tripped and crashed heavily to the floor. Following the light, an invisible electromagnetic storm swept across the entire solar system in mere seconds. Phones lost all signal. Most students were just confused, but Gao Junhao scrambled up from the floor, absolutely furious. "Today I'm going to beat you to death for Wanro," he roared, throwing a massive punch at my face. But just as the fist was about to land, the world mutated. The bright morning sky instantly turned to twilight, and a blood-red cosmic light descended from the heavens. In my arms, the pale Xiao Wanro began a miraculous transformation. A pair of silver-shining dragon horns sprouted from her head. A pure, starlight glow surrounded her face. Ethereal, white dragon-scale armor materialized over her body, radiating a faint, divine light that perfectly contoured her figure. Behind her, A pure white dragon tail swayed gently. In that instant, newfound cosmic knowledge bloomed in Xia Wanrou's mind. She finally understood that I had forced her to swallow the snake for her own survival. Seeing Gao Junhao attacking me, her eyes turned cold. She simply raised a delicate scaled hand and effortlessly caught his heavy punch. Instead of harming me, Gao Junhao let out a strangled cry. The moment his fist struck her draconic armor, his hand was instantly mangled, charring black and emitting foul smoke. He stumbled back, clutching his ruined hand in agony. Xia Wanrou looked at me, her scales slowly retracting under her skin, and her dragon horns fading away. She looked like she wanted my praise. I looked exactly the same as before, showing no outward physical changes. However, as she stood before me, she felt a profound shock strike her very soul. It was the primal fear a weaker creature feels toward an apex predator, hard-coded into her genes. She realized that whatever I had swallowed was terrifyingly powerful. The overwhelming urge to submit only made her fall deeper in love with me. She knew I would never hurt her. Suddenly, the crimson light outside intensified, turning the dark sky as bright as a blazing day. In the classroom, agonizing screams erupted. The mutation had begun. Only those with strong willpower could fuse with the strange energy and awaken talents. Those who were mentally weak could not resist the cosmic force. The classroom instantly turned into a bloodbath. Huge, twisted, bone-covered monsters literally burst out of students' bodies. Some mutated into skeletal ghost monkeys, others into twisted giant worms or savage wolves. All of them were covered in gore, looking like demons crawling out of hell. They immediately began slaughtering the normal students, tearing them in half with razor-sharp claws and fangs. The classroom became a living nightmare. The class president watched in sheer terror, backing away, as he failed to comprehend how the world had ended in mere seconds. Gao Junhao was one of the weak ones. Unable to resist the mutating energy, his body violently writhed. Blood vessels bulged and ruptured across his skin. In just 2 or 3 seconds, his large, muscular body shrank and deformed drastically, losing all human resemblance. Long, razor-sharp, mantis-like scythes tore out from his flesh. With a piercing shriek, the creature that was once Gao Junhao lunged forward with blinding speed, slicing a screaming girl in half instantly. I recognized the abomination immediately. It was a blood demon bird. Because I had survived the apocalypse in my past life, I knew exactly how deadly this monster was. Though it was a lower-tier beast, its bizarre speed and blade-like claws made it one of the most lethal creatures in the early stages of the apocalypse. Even humans who successfully awakened their talents would easily be slaughtered by it before they could figure out how to use their powers. Especially now, as the bright flash faded back into the dim, blood-red twilight. The blood demon bird possessed owl-like night vision, making it an absolute nightmare in the dark. But this time, I wasn't the weak prey I used to be. In my previous life, they drove me out of the residential building like a monster. If Xia Wanrou hadn't found me immediately after the mutation and resolutely stayed by my side, I probably would have died out there long ago. But ironically, because I was at home when the apocalypse hit, I managed to avoid the blood demon bird. This realization made it clear why almost no one in our class made it out of the school alive in my past life. As these thoughts flashed through my mind, I glared warily at the blood demon bird. At the same time, I focused inward, attempting to awaken my innate divine talent. Instantly, information about my newfound power flooded my mind. My eyes lit up with vicious excitement. Blood demon bird. You'll make the perfect test subject. I stomped my foot hard,